Hello, guys. Welcome to another new episode of this podcast series. Today, I have with me AK Anurag Kulkarni, the cybersecurity professional, threat hunter, threat researcher, and my brother. So, guys, इस पॉडकास्ट में हम देखने जा रहे हैं कि there is a lot to know about cybersecurity. What we know so far is just maybe VPNs or few basic things, maybe SSL certificate or basic ideas about the security. But then today we have someone with us who has worked with banks, who has worked with different consultation companies, and a good renowned organizations. So he has very good hands-on experiences, whether it's building the architecture, whether it's implementation, and a lot of different things. So Anurag, why don't you give your introduction yourself? And in case if I miss something, please bear with me. So welcome to the podcast. The stage
Thank
is
you. Thank you so much, Vaibhav, for giving me this opportunity to be here with you. Um, I think, yeah, so basically, to introduce myself, I would start with that I've been with security domain on now around 10 years. And in this experience, I think I've worked with multiple clients with different BFSI sector. When I say BFSI, it's mostly with banking and financial industry, mostly on the client side as well as on the consultation side of the security. Good to be here. My overall experience, I would rate is because it is a bit, it's a security experience. I think I forgot it there. So maybe you should cut that part. Yeah. So maybe, yeah. But overall, it's a very good experience with security, and I think I'm lucky to be here in this domain. And I think I would like to contribute more to the more security researchers and threat hunting and threat research part. Uh, yeah, that's all. Yeah.
Sounds good. So because I know most of the things about you, and I know that for a fact you are a cyber like threat hunter and those crazy words. So I know, like just like I'm a growth hacker, right? It sounds crazy, but
Mhm.
can you tell us what like threat hunter or cyber security professional, like what is like being them? What are your
Okay.
responsibilities? What kind of work you guys do?
So basically, security is a very vast domain. Okay, there is not everybody is a hacker in security domain.
Yeah,
Now people think from outside listening
that's a big
cybersecurity.
misconception.
Yeah, there are many misconceptions about it. Not everybody is a hacker. Not everybody can be a hacker, because in that case, then security domain or the industry won't work,
Yeah.
because there has to be people who has to do groundwork. There has to be people who actually will build the infrastructure. There has to be people who will secure the infrastructure, and there will be people who will test the infrastructure as well.
So it's
So
more like being a pilot, and but to run a flight, you need the staff, right? You need a ground staff, you need a cabin crew, you need a airport
yes,
staff. It's similar, I guess.
yes, I agree.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
basically, it's a combination of all. Like in the family, we have everybody, right? We have our grandfathers, we have fathers, mothers, sisters, brother, relatives. So it's like a combination of all. Everybody has their individual respect and contribution towards the security domain, and nobody can individually prepare or build this domain from scratch. Okay, so everybody is responsible in contributing this stuff. So that is how important every person is in security. So even though if you are not an hacker, or if you're not a good penetration tester means somebody who actually exploits or maybe hack a system for a genuine reason. That is a white hat hacking. You can say that white hat hacking, because those are applicable and eligible testers to test the hacking and exploit the systems. So,
Authorized, I would say.
yeah, you can say authorized hacker. Yeah. So everybody is responsible. Yeah.
Okay, so now I believe most of our viewers or most of our listeners would be either individual or they might have some sort of business, they might have some sort of website, or they might be a part of a big organization who might have already implemented security systems, right? So when I say word security in this digital era, right? Because everything is digital, the payments are digital, documents are digital. So
Yes.
how this affects to me as an individual, then a small organization, and then maybe a very big like enterprise level organization. So can you break it down a bit for us?
Yes, sure. So, see, security doesn't come, we cannot compare it with organizational level first thing, because security is something, let's understand the word security, right? Anybody who feels secure means he has no fear about doing anything wrong, right? So that is what a security is, right? It can be anything, like even if you roam on a blank dark road in the night, you should feel secure, right?
Yeah,
That's also a security, right?
correct.
Now, so it actually is not based on the organization level. It can be individual security. For example, today people get scammed on phones as well, right?
Yeah.
They might get a call, they might lose their money, right? In
Mm-hmm.
that scenario, that's the individual security where you should learn how to be prepared for such cases, how to be prepared and known about these issues, what are the spam calls or callers are doing, how they are actually trying to attack. So in terms of individual level also, you should have that knowledge, how to detect a spam call, how to know if person is spamming you. And there are various efforts that are being taken by government as well to educate
Yeah.
users, because in the village areas people are not usually aware. Not in the village area also, I think there are many people in the city area where
Yeah.
they've lost so many money
Absolutely.
even though they are well educated, right? Uh, so this knowledge starts from individual level, and it can contribute over and over to a different organization. But to answer your question, right, so individually it is more important to contribute to security, because if you are well educated in terms of security, I
Mm-hmm.
think you will be doing fine in any type of organization, because
Right.
there are three parts to any organization, right? um, Process, people, and technology. And people
Absolutely.
are the very weak link in this three factors, in these three pillars,
Yeah, that's
because
very
people
well
are
mentioned.
vulnerable.
Yeah.
Process can be, may not be, and might not be. Technology can be, might be, and may not be, right? But people are vulnerable because they might lack education in some of the domains or some of the terms that they might not know, right? Or maybe this is new because upgradation happened with so many things, and not everyone is aware of those things, right? So people are the very weak link there. But if you keep yourself educated, I think uh, then
So in
security
simple
won't.
words, I think I can say that like maybe having awareness about which emails are correct, which emails are spam, having awareness about what WhatsApp message or text message you are getting
Yes.
is right or wrong, and maybe what kind of website you should visit, what is the right way to visit them,
Yeah.
how to understand whether your data is been hacked or not. Like there are many sites, I guess, who if you enter your password, it will let you know any if this password is exposed anywhere. So
Yes.
making sure some user level implementation of such things has happened, and then making sure you don't provide your card on every new website or every platform anywhere. But you can also do maybe some so this is all what I have know so far because of you or my own research. Also you can keep a different bank credit card or debit card that can be specifically used for a purpose of online transaction, and that should be
Yeah.
like where you can send that only amount of money that is required to make the payments, else keep your all the payments on a different account. So
Yes.
maybe this can be the
So
tip.
yeah, so to add on to you, I think yes, that education is very important on individual level. Uh, but also when you go to organizations, right? When
Mhm.
you say a small scale organization, medium scale organization, large scale organization, obviously large scale will obviously implement security as a part of by default because of the compliance. There might be
Yeah.
because of the RBI governance, etc., etc. Maybe respective governance from the respective countries, etc. But for a small scale, also I would say attackers in today's world, attackers just are curious for data. Okay, data is the big thing.
Right.
And that is why you might have seen big data coming in, then machine learning coming in, AI coming in. They're all what they all need is data. Okay, even for
But
chat
what is
GPT.
data? Like if I consider data, data can be, I think, the payment information, data can be other the individual information, right? Like I'm just trying to break it down to make it
Yeah,
simpler for
yeah.
audience to
So
understand. Because I think data,
data, yeah. So data can be any random information about you. Let's say Vaibhav is
mhm,
gender male. Vaibhav is of height 5'8" or 6 foot, etc. Okay, so that information is also valuable. So people nowadays post photos and
yeah,
the songs on Instagram, Facebook with their public profile, right?
right.
And today, if you think right, we can actually create another identity
Yeah,
for a
identity.
person. Yeah, because it's very easy for nowadays. Because people now, if you sit in the airport, you go in the plane, you might check in on the going from Delhi to maybe
Yeah,
New York.
absolutely.
Yeah, people check in nowadays.
Correct.
So it's very easy for someone to track what he's doing, when he's doing, and they can create a fake identity for that person with very easiest. Nowadays it's very easy. People go on LinkedIn, share all their details with resume,
Right.
with mobile numbers, email IDs,
And I
etc.
think
And
like just to keep this focus towards an organizational data, I think it is crucial that the data is also of your own customers. The data is
exactly.
also of the people that you are, you are making them assured legally. By the way, legally, you're making them assured that your data is safe with us.
Yeah.
So now, then it's slightly relevant question to me. So when I understand organization, I feel there can be a firewall, there can be maybe if they have website, there can be some SSL certificate. So these are the only few things that I know. But do you think when we look at organization, what are the very basic things that needs to be implemented to make everything is secured in my company?
Hmm. I would say nothing is completely secure. That's a myth. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, but to start with, right? Let's say you have a website hosted on the internet, right? So you should at least make sure that you have a very valid username, which is obviously not admin, obviously not somebody who's
Absolutely.
login, or some name that starts with the company's name, right?
Mm-hmm.
And some easiest password to do, because nowadays
People are lazy.
yeah, people can be lazy. People, they can be, easy to remember things. They will keep a password. Uh, there are very basic checks where you can just copy paste things on username box and password box, right? You can write a script, it can run the script on the username and password box. So these are the very basic checks I would say is very important. Apart from that, as you said, firewalls, SSL, there are different tools to actually protect from any threats, like threat vectors, threat attackers, right? Those are like WAF, those are like IPS, IDS, Arbor, like DDoS solutions, Cloudflare, security solution, etc. There are many things that goes on, but it depends on how large your organization is, how small your organization is, right? So it actually depends if what type of data they are handling, what type of consumers they are dealing with. Let's say for a financial institution, that is very important to have as many as they can, because to protect more information. For a normal industry which is not as critical as financial industry, I think that would not be implementing all this stuff, even though, but they might have very compliant security which will actually protect the information. So I think that depends on how the organization, what the organization is. uh, Actually, many things depends on architecture as well, how secure your architecture you have built.
So what
Sometimes
is
people.
architecture? Like I think I initially when I say I also mentioned this word security architecture, right? But can you just break it down in a very simple words?
Okay. So security architecture is nothing but the tools which we said right now is you have to align them in a way that your data flows between those tools and finally reaches the application or destination that you have without being bypassed. So attacker will not be able to bypass any of those tools to get into your environment and to get access to your systems or data. And he can be a silent attacker, like he can sit there for years to have just collect the information, or he can just exploit your system, right? So you should have these tools aligned in a way that it cannot be exploited. Now it depends. So sometimes what happens is like there are many organizations which has all the tools also, right? But they might not have the proper architecture. In that case, they might get hacked. You might know many organizations been getting hacked, right? Recently, I think many of the organizations got hacked, right? So that is even though they have tools, they have not defined the architecture properly. And architecture is the like a framework, like a pillar to the
So shall
security.
I like if I make it very simple for people, can it be like a grid of pipelines and you're so it which connect different points and you're just trying to make that it has no leakage from where your information is leaking out, or anyone can get access to that pipeline or stream is what I'm referring. Is it right definition of like to make it simpler?
You can say that in terms of pipeline. You can also say it's a path,
Yeah,
that
path, right.
every packet that allows from X to Y destination.
Mm-hmm.
How that will be handled in between is what the architecture should be. This is what you can say in a simple layman word. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And now coming back to what we were discussing, now when it comes to enterprise level, I think that is not something that can be done uh individually, and definitely a team of security folks is required there. But how it works in an enterprise level organization, right? What are the things? Because I think whatever work you have done so far is majorly with the enterprise level companies, or global companies, banks. So what is the scale of security team? Like what it look like how many people are working there? What kind of job roles are there for such people? And then what is their ideal goal? Is it just securing the information or anything else apart of that?
See, for an enterprise level, there are huge teams. It cannot be defined in a particular number, but it can be in tens or hundreds, maybe, depending upon how big the client is, how big
Mhm.
the information is having, how big systems it has, right? So it cannot be defined as a number, but surely there are different teams involved. So let's say there's one enterprise who's actually trying to implement new secure ways of doing. Uh, they're storing or restoring the data, storing the data in cloud, right? So they'll need a team who does the analysis of this requirement. There might need a team that who actually implements this requirement. There might be needing a team who actually supports this requirement. Plus, there are different other teams who actually
Like
daily basis
monitoring and those other stuff.
threat monitoring, threat hunting, incident. There might be very incidents on a daily basis that there is a SOC team. SOC team is Security Operations Center. It's a big SOC team that operates all the incidents which are happening on a day-to-day basis in the organization. They actually deal with it, right? So 24/7 it gets monitored, it gets handled, it gets troubleshooted, it gets fixed. It gets like everything gets documented as well. So there are different teams involved. You cannot define a number around that, but on an enterprise level, it can be a number of tens and can be a number of hundreds. Sure, yeah.
And how important is implementing this security? Because I have been a blogger, my website has been hacked so far in past. Although it was not very big, it was a very small website, but still my website was hacked, and all of my maybe more than 1.5 years of work has like gone into scratch because I simply asked by my hosting provider that you have to delete this website. We cannot do anything, neither we can clear it. If you want to clear it, it's very expensive. There are thousands of dollar charges for that. So I had to delete it basically, right? And so I am considering if that can happen with such small website. Now businesses are growing like everything, like startups are growing, but I
Yeah.
think no one is focusing on the security of their customer data. Most they can do is maybe just get some sort of CRM and put all the data there. I believe that CRM is working on security aspect, but in general sense, I'm asking how is it important to secure your data, maybe a personal level or any sort of level.
See, I feel there are different regulators defined by the government as well. There
Mm-hmm.
is certain which actually reports any type of incidents on a priority basis with security. There's there are many governance team which actually monitors security. I believe we should actually implement basic security when it comes to a small minimal thing. I don't think it can be when you say it can be a small website. You said right. It cannot be a small website that would need a security, but attackers what they trying to so I can think from if you think from attackers perspective, right, they don't need anything. They what they'll try to do, they'll not try to attack big people because they'll obviously know there's a security behind it. They'll always try to fix or try to exploit new websites or new people who are arriving in this web domain basically or internet domain because they are the
Not aware.
more they're not aware, they're more vulnerable to the threats and exploits. And because of the lack of awareness, as you said, not aware, this is more easier to get information. And once you get this information, I think you can use for any purpose. Like you can use it for maybe spamming you. They can call you on number with
Yeah.
some details. Yeah, they can get your credit card information, card information. They might get your email IDs. They might get into your Facebook, social media, etc. So there are a number of ways to, but I think basic security is very important. Government is doing very much around it.
I think
But as an
Jamtara
individual,
has really opened a lot of people's eyes
yeah,
that how this entire network or syndicate, I would say, plays
yes,
around. And I think I don't know exactly, but I remember you referred me one movie in the past that is on Netflix or somewhere that talks about a girl and how she breached her data, or and then his father start in search of his security, that and it's like
yes,
everything just roams around that stuff. So I
yeah.
don't remember the name, but guys, you can just like find out on a Netflix or somewhere that security related Netflix movies or something, and you will find it. And do watch that. It is a really eye opener that how it works.
Yeah,
Uh,
I somehow not remember now, but I think I would recommend Mr. Robot. One series is there which is morely on the security professional.
mhm.
There's one movie which is Unfriended Dark Web. How difficult and
Yeah,
dangerous the dark web is. Yeah.
I think
Uh,
that can be a different level of topic that I'm gonna discuss with you on a different
yeah.
separate podcast that is specifically on dark web. But yeah, any other recommendations?
I think firstly you should watch Mr. Robot. Then you will get to know
Is it a
how
series or is it a movie
it's a web series. I think it's a very web series.
and
It's
available on
I think it's available on Netflix. Yeah, you can watch Mr. Robo, or I think it's a Prime. I guess it's Prime. I don't know.
Mr.
I
Robo,
don't
right?
remember. Mr. Robot. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. And so I think there is this one other big buzz in the market right now that is going around, and I think it's making revolution. I'm not against it, but I'm slightly curious about that uh, after AI, everything people are doing anything and everything. I think people are just uploading anything to Chat GPT. They are sharing their financial statements to Chat GPT, asking for suggestions, recommendations, and all the sensitive information, their personal life information. No offense to OpenAI, Chat GPT, but I'm just trying to understand in general, after the artificial intelligence has came into picture, how is it difficult to work on security? Is like is AI helping cybersecurity professionals with something or anything that can be as a value added for them, or like are the cybersecurity people concerned about the growing issue with AI and security going hand in hand? So how would you address this?
Um. Yeah. Good question. By the way, Vaibhav. I think the first one to answer is it difficult? I think day to day it's gonna get difficult because of the new threats, new type of attacks. You might be aware in last 2 3 years ransomwares are very popular. Yeah. So I think with AI it actually helps both the sides. I won't say it just helps the attackers, but it also helps the threat researchers as well. Even though, being said that, for an individual level who are less aware about security, I think it's add more threats. So it is much easier for an attacker to use AI and do stuff which can be used against you. which can be easier to exploit, easier to hack into the system. Because YouTube has done all this thing. You can just go and search on YouTube how to exploit, how to hack things. There'll be a lot of courses, there'll be a lot of videos around it.
It's like telling
Plus,
people how to maybe make a bomb or create a bomb or something like.
yeah, so basically, YouTube is actually educating users in good ways and bad ways as well. But now it's up to the users who how you choose the content around it. So similarly, it is with AI, right? So how easier you're using, how easier you are using this information. Plus, you are sharing this information, which is very personal to you, which is very confidential to you. That might be a risk. One point in time, not right now, maybe because it is at a very secure level. But once attacker get used to the AI frameworks, they
Mm-hmm.
might also get to steal the data, right? So this might be a possibility. I'm just hypothetically stating the scenarios here. But to answer you, it is very difficult every day deal with these threats because there are some of them are known threats, some of them are unknown threats. For known threats, you obviously have a solution. For unknown threats, you don't have a solution until you get to fix it or resolve an incident, right? So, and nowadays with AI, there are unknown threats are increasing, which we call zero day. Okay, so zero day attacks are something which is very new, which is very uncommon, and you don't know a solution to it. Uh, so you might be Google around zero day vulnerability, zero day attacks. You might get a lot of content around it, and most of them are still yet to be patched. By the way, so we are not sure how secure it's gonna be, but it's gonna be definitely challenging. Yeah. So the
So
first
don't big
question.
companies like again, no offense to any company or anyone, but I think anyone who is implementing some sort of artificial intelligence, ideally or ethically, they should be also implementing security measures behind it, right?
No, I'm sure. I think they might be also working around it. I'm not saying that any of the companies who are working on AIs are not working on security. I'm not saying at all. They are
Mhm.
surely working around it. But not everything is perfect. It's
So
always
what you're
99%.
suggesting is, what I'm guessing is that even though everything is secured on organizational level or the tool level or anything, just be cautious of what you are sharing online, what you are sharing with AI systems and everywhere, that maybe artificial intelligence is am I right on this?
You are partially right. What I'm saying is, even though organization try 100 more than 200% to fix or secure everything, there might be some or the other way around to get
Zero day attack.
exploited. Yeah. So no, but even though in our compliances we are always saying that you have to be 99.999, the four nines after nine after a dot. So we cannot give that 0.10001% to because everything can be hacked. It cannot be secured for sure. But the only thing you can make sure is how you are aware about it, how you are sharing your information on the website, social media, all these platforms, and how you are well educated about this information of what should be shared, because there are different four categories. One is personal, public, confidential, restricted, and internal, right? So if you don't know, if you're not aware of these four categories on how to share and what to share,
I
I
think this
think,
is something that every individual should look at their level, right? That
yep.
what should my content should be public, what should, like for example, even the images, what we're talking in general sense, what I'm sharing on Instagram, is it worth of sharing public, or that goes to my personal level, or maybe my just hard disk.
See, if you share, I'm not against the sharing. I think you can close your circle and you can share information is very fine with me. If you see you have 300 followers, 400 followers, and which you actually personally know, right? And you can give a status, you can keep a photo of yourself, you can give a photo of your families and whatever it is, right? You can share it with them. It's fine. It's not a problem. But when you make it public, right, it's obviously accessible to everyone. And when you say it's accessible to everyone, it means everyone, with including attackers, hackers, security researchers,
And are
threat
people
hunters.
scouting for such information? Like, how easy
Yeah,
to scout for such information?
people. not only people, I think most of the team actually collects this data. Now, recently you might have heard Aadhaar data being used for one of the projects in some UK university, I guess. I'm not sure which university it was, but some of the university, right? Now, this is something that is feeding their project, or maybe whatever they're trying to do. But it's that easy to get the data, get the information,
So
basically.
basically, people are saving money or either earning money out of it
Yeah,
to
you
getting
can
that
obviously
information.
get money out of it. You can obviously share that information on internet and various other websites you have. Obviously, you take a small example of songs, right? Small songs, ringtones. These are the things which gets like viral in a day or in a
Yeah.
week's time, right? So I think that's how simple it is to share the data nowadays, and it's easier to exploit the data than to secure the data nowadays.
Okay, so guys, before we move further, the session is about to, conclude, but there is two special sections that is still remaining. But before we move there, let's give a quick shout out to our sponsor of this podcast, that's casualhair.com. Casualhair.com is men's and women's clothing wear brand. You can just check this out and let us know how you feel. You can find day-to-day t-shirt, day-to-day for men and women, and also very occasional, graphically designed and high quality products. So there is a coupon code in description and also a link. You can just visit it and get the benefit of this podcast. So coming back to our podcast now, uh, so someone like me, like an engineer, like who is studying maybe information technology, who is studying software engineering, or even if I'm moving back to just a bachelor in computer science, not engineering degree. So if I want to get into this cybersecurity profession, what is my first step? What should I look for? Shall I do something during my college time, or like, or shall I just join any organization that will give me experience? So basically, how can I categorize myself, or that I want to pursue this? Like what skills are required and those stuff basically.
Um, yeah, to answer you, so it's very easier for the young youths, I think, nowadays, because YouTube has done a lot of help to the students who cannot pay the fees or classes. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think YouTube is one of the greatest help. But if you want to do something which actually is really worth your time, then you go and do a certification on Udemy. You can do a Security Plus certification. Security Plus is nothing but the basics of security.
Ethical, I
Then
think fundamentals courses, I believe.
no, ethical hacking comes much later, but before
Okay.
that, you had to understand security. For example, what is virus? For example, what is a malware? So, what is the difference between a malware and a virus? So, to get into the ethical hacking, you should at least know the basic differences here. So that is a security plus. Then you can further take on to a network plus. Network plus is if you want to go on the architecture side of the in security domain, then it is network. You should know the network, how a packet travel from A destination to B destination. For example, if you type google.com, what happens to your system behind it, and how does it reach google.com, and how can you see google.com on your system, right? To understand what packet flow is. On that, you can do a network plus. Then you can go into certified ethical hacking certification, this which is CEH. Certified ethical hacker, and it is also a good certification. It is a bit advanced than security plus.
And is there any
uh,
organization that does this, like that help
yeah, it
with
is ISC
certification?
square. ISC square does this. So I think it's ISC square, yeah.
And shall people
So
do this in college or like post the college or during the education?
uh,
Which
yeah,
year?
so it's a good question. Yeah, so you can practice this security plus at any point of time in your college, but you can obviously give the CEH when you are on the job. There's no criteria as such, but I think you should be at least having a bachelor degree to perform this certification. And then there are many certifications around the world now. After you achieve this, there are a few cloud certifications you want to do. You might be a security foundationer. with AWS, with Azure, with Google, etc. There are many cloud uh, domains that achieve gives you free certifications as well. So yeah, there are a lot of things available on YouTube, Udemy. You can go on LinkedIn Learning, learn some around it. So many things available. People at least LinkedIn Learning is very genuine. You can get the certification, post it on LinkedIn. People value LinkedIn nowadays, so it's very good thing to have it. So I think most of the aspiring youth should, if you want to pursue your education, should obviously try things I just mentioned right now.
Perfect. Uh, so now there is this last segment of this podcast, which is basically about just 2 minutes long, where I'm gonna just put random words in front of you, and you just have to tell me whatever comes in your mind. Just be outspoken about it. Don't think a lot on this. Uh,
Okay.
so my first word is security.
Security is a process.
Okay. Antivirus.
Antivirus which defends your system. Yeah.
Firewall.
Firewall protects the unknown to get into your network or organization. Or yeah.
And dark web.
Huge information. It has a huge information. Yeah. It can be good, it can be bad, but it is having a huge information or data, I would say.
And just the word data. I don't know how will you take it in a positive, negative sense, but just the word data.
Data is very important, I would say, in good and bad terms. Uh, for a security researcher, also data is required. For a attacker, also data is required. So it's equally valuable at both the sides of the table.
Perfect. So, guys, I think that's the kind of podcast that we want to look ahead in the future. I believe this is a very short podcast, and there is a lot to discuss. Maybe it's about the personal security, it's about the dark web, or it's just about how to surf a website, right? Right, and that is perfectly correct that you don't lose any information. There is a lot to discuss with Mr. Kulkarni ahead going further, and I'm sure that he will be available for us moving ahead.
Sure, sure. Yeah.
So, so I'm hoping that you guys like this podcast. If you like this podcast, do hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and stay tuned for our upcoming podcast. And if you like to look stylish, do visit casually.com, get an additional discount, and let us know. Take a pictures and send it to us. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this podcast. Have a great day ahead. Bye bye. Thank you, Anurag.
Thank you, Vaibhav. Thank you for having me.